Punahou's Damon's Speech Contest first took place in 1872 and is still going strong almost 140 years later. Here are this year's winning 7th and 8th grade speeches.
I'm here to warn you of a dangerous dark force. We see hints of it now, but its presence will become overbearing as we progress into high school and college. It makes your pulse race with fear, causes you stress, sleepless nights, and steals your happiness and health. It can even push you into dangerous behavior and possibly death. What is this force? No, it's not aliens, terrorists, or the plague. This enemy is called perfection. You may be thinking, what's wrong with perfection? Don't we all want to be perfect? From preschool to old age, society teaches us that perfection is what counts. But at what cost? Today's societal pressure to be perfect causes negative effects on people, particularly students. The culture of overachieving and the quest for perfection has escalated drastically over the years and has altered what it means to be a student. School now has become a competitive frenzy where imperfection is considered a failure. Students feel judged by the grades they attain, not who they are. Striving for these impossibly high standards can cause stress, anxiety, depression, and even suicide. I saw this firsthand when a foreign exchange student came to live with my family. She was a star tennis player, outstanding college student, and a confident leader. But this was never enough. Perfection reared its ugly head, and she fell victim to a cycle of anxiety, insomnia, anorexia, and ultimately made an attempt on her life. No matter how much we reassured her of her success, she considered herself a failure because she was not perfect. Today's pressure to overachieve and be perfect overwhelms many students. 77% say that academic concerns are their biggest stress factor. This has caused the recent 114% spike in suicide rates among 15 to 20-year-olds, being the third leading cause of death among this age group. We are literally dying to be perfect. Seeking perfection stops us from finishing projects because we fear they will not measure up. In a recent poll, 6 out of 10 students were so stressed that they couldn't get their work done. None of us will ever achieve perfection. It's an illusion. The need for perfection is stealing the best years of our lives. Instead of pursuing our passions and following our natural talents, we chase after A's and build our college resumes. This isn't just a problem with students, but with American society as a whole. Out of fear of not looking good, we overspend and go to extremes to avoid aging. How can we save ourselves? Appreciate your achievements and shortcomings. We can learn from both. Mistakes are what make us human and allow us to grow. To be successful, you don't have to be perfect. Stop comparing yourself to others. There will always be those who appear more perfect with better grades and more awards. Don't overschedule yourself. And finally, for those students who speak of depression or suicide, offer help and get a teacher or counselor involved. You could save a life. Striving for excellence motivates us, but striving for perfection destroys us. Today's societal pressure to be perfect causes negative effects, particularly for students. In the process of pleasing others, we lose our way. Look around. 1 out of 5 of us will get depressed, turn to drugs, eating disorders, or suicide to deal with our disappointments. When you feel the need to be perfect, have the courage to stand up and say, no more. Create a life, not a resume. Thank you.
Fag, queer, homo, dyke. This verbal abuse is poor repayment for a gay military member's service to our country. Of the 1.4 million active service members, 22,400 are estimated to be homosexuals. 600 to 800 people are discharged for homosexuality every year. Most are forced to resign as a result of harassment by other service people. Not only does this abuse of homosexuals set a terrible example for other countries, it completely disregards their rights as humans and persecutes them for their sexual orientation. These people fight for freedom and justice, but their colleagues deny them this. People should not be treated unfairly for their sexual orientation. Tormenting a homosexual, like tormenting any person, isn't just mentally and physically abusive, it's life-threatening. In the military, not only direct verbal and physical abuse, but death threats and crude displays of anti-gay sentiments may drive some to suicide. Due to harassment, a gay or lesbian service member's performance may decrease as they become insecure and afraid. According to the U.S. Army website, between June 10th and 24th last year, there were 62 suicides in the Army alone. Clearly, something must be done, starting at the root of the problem. Author Ernest Gaines once said, "Why is it that, as a culture, we are more comfortable seeing two men holding guns than holding hands?" There are many different types of phobias against LG, lesbian gay people. Religious homophobia is most common. Many world religions have anti-gay teachings. In Islam, homosexuality is a crime under Sharia law, punishable by execution. Catholics and Jews also expressly forbid homosexuality, believing it's a sin. Still, in America, religion is separate from the state and shouldn't have any part in homosexual discrimination in the military. Very few options are given to gays in the military who are tormented by their fellow service members. They may file harassment complaints. However, the military's famous "don't ask, don't tell" policy prohibits the disclosure of an individual's sexual orientation. By filing a complaint, the victimized homosexual could be discharged. Many believe "don't ask, don't tell" violates freedom of speech. In fact, the majority of Americans favor discontinuing it. When I was in the military, they gave me a medal for killing 2 men and a discharge for loving 1, reads the tombstone of Leonard Matlovich, first gay individual to battle the military's homosexual ban. The military rewards killing over love. Why shouldn't a gay military member stand by his fellow countrymen and fight out of love for his home? There was a time when able and willing African and Asian service members were excluded from the white militia, the so-called true Americans. There was a time when the patriotic women of our country fought for the right to bleed and die in service. But times have changed. Now people, regardless of race, of gender, even country of birth, come together to battle in the armed forces. When we turn away people from our military because of their sexual orientation, we are losing some of the bravest, best defenders our country can provide. To quote our Commander-in-Chief, Barack Obama, "Our time for change has come."